morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on ABS Television. My name is Priska Wankwo. The headlines. Anambra government establishes trademark for agricultural produce to promote exports. Agricultural processing stakeholders urged to promote standards. Food shortage hits internally displaced persons camp in Adamawa State. On the foreign scene, Singapore and Malaysia agreed to end airspace disputes. And now the news in detail. A trademark has been established for Anambra State's agricultural produce to enable small-scale processors and fabricators key into the exports initiative of the state government. Details and more on this report from our studio.
Addressing processors and fabricators of agricultural produce at the headquarters of Ministry of Agriculture, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Mr. Afam Mbanefo, stated that most of the processors who have no certification would be grouped together under strict supervision of the ministry. Mr. Mbanefo further explained that the ministry has proposed to set up farmers' display centers in major cities of Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt for produce such as Anambra Gari, Ugu, yam, honey, and rice, adding that the ministry will collaborate with the processors and fabricators to drive the process of export of Anambra produce outside the shores of the state. The commissioner enjoined all processors and fabricators in the state to register and obtain identification numbers for easy communication. Also speaking, the senior special assistant to the governor on Fadama, Mr. Obinna Efobi, stated that the ministry is proposing to develop a build linkage with fabricators, processors, off-takers, and financial instructions, adding that the system will make farmers, processors, and fabricators more active. In a vote of thanks, a processor from Omo, Mr. Paul Eguatu, commended the ministry for initiating the collaboration and for establishing a trademark for agri-produce from the state, and promised that the sky will be the farmers' limit.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, has called on agricultural processing stakeholders to get involved in standards elaboration by ensuring that measuring equipment are calibrated to ensure accuracy. An official of the organization, Lady Anne Osakwe, made the call during a one-day advocacy and awareness campaign on safety, health, and sustainable environment at processing centers across the 5 participating IFAD VCDP local government areas. Our great correspondent, Ebele Eze, takes the story from here.
The campaign, organized by the State Coordination Office of IFAD VCDP for its farmers in Oka, attracted rice and cassava processors from the benefiting local government areas. Addressing the participants, Lady Anne noted that agricultural produce need to meet food safety standards, consumer confidence, and patronage, while urging them to test their produce in accredited laboratory and obtain certificate of analysis. Lady Anne asked them to avail themselves of standards relevant to their produce.
The process of carrying out factory inspection is to make sure that the processors meet up with the standard and make sure that what they are giving to the producer, what they are giving to the consumers meets with this standard we are talking about.
The Assistant Director, Consumer Education, Federal Competitiveness and Consumer Protection Commission Southeast Zone, Oka, Mr. Anthony Wafo, who frowned at the recent increase of substandard and adulterated products in the society, said, due to the high demand and nutritional value of Anambra rice, dealers have started repackaging their rice in Anambra bag, while warning defaulters to desist forthwith, as the Commission will confiscate such goods on apprehension. Mr. Wafo urged farmers to always monitor their produce to ensure that it remains safe until final consumption.
From what they learned today, I know that there will be a lot of change within the operations. In terms of protective measures, in terms of serving safe food on table.
The procurement officer IFAD VCDP, Mrs. Chika Obiemeka Awarambo, while urging the farmers to take proper care of their environment during processing, assured them of adequate provision of personal protective equipment to avoid contaminating their products.
So, as I said, we are trying to procure something to distribute to some of the facilities, where if the one will do, the facilities will now step it up.
the Agro-Processing and Quality Enhancement Officer, IFAD VCDP, and convener of the program, Mr. Bonaventure Mochebe, said the campaign was aimed at educating farmers on the ethics and principles required in processing for global standards. Some of the participants, Mrs. Anne Anerobi, a rice processor from Omo in Ayamelum local government area, Mr. Chukwualoka Onuzulebo, a cassava processor from Mbako in Oka North local government area, and Mr. Godwin Edoja, a rice farmer from Enoma in Anambra West local government area, while identifying lack of fund as their major problem, urged the IFAD VCDP to step down the training to community level. From the conference hall of the Agricultural Development Program Office in Oka, I am Ebele Eze reporting for ABS News.
The increasing number of beggars at some of the pedestrian bridges across the state has become a source of worry to the Anambra. ABS correspondent Emengini Osadebe visited some of those bridges in Onitsha and its environs occupied by these beggars and discovered an increase in the number of children beggars with their mothers. Her reports.
When ABS stormed the Oga Junction pedestrian bridge, which has a roof and other protective coverings around it, children ranging from 6 months to 11 years of age were at the bridge with their perceived able-bodied mothers begging for alms. On sighting ABS camera, they covered themselves with their umbrellas to avoid being captured. Some passerbys who spoke to ABS condemned the attitude of these women who have subjected their children to child labor under the scorching sun. They bemoaned the attitude of these women, which might affect the future of these children, and called on relevant authorities to wade in to save the children from being a threat to the society in the near future.
One gave pure water, pure water. More Banima go to Mabatan, we begin our Guabata, Brubatanima, Nebanata. At the end of the day, even what they get.
You are supposed to struggle as woman. If you no get money like that, you carry market for head. If we in a pure water, they sell to help your children.
Also at the MCC axis of Enugu-Onitsha Expressway pedestrian bridge, the story was the same. Most of the women were with about 3 to 4 children of about 11 years downwards. When ABS confronted them, they claimed to have fled from Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, due to communal clash, saying that they lost all they have in the state clash. For little Miss Chisom, acquiring education and being useful to her parents have been her dream and pleaded for assistance. A self-acclaimed Abagana woman with 2 children who refused to disclose her full identity said she was forced to begging with her children because she was chased away from her village and forcefully took away her other 2 children, stating that she is not married. Some passerby in the area described the act of using children to beg for alms as child abuse and may have adverse effects on them, while some were of the opinion that the children were not theirs biologically. They called on the government to create jobs for these women to better their lots. Emengini Osadebe, ABS News.
No fewer than 1,400 internally displaced persons, IDPs, including the elderly, women, and children from Fufo in Adamawa State, are complaining of acute food supply in the camp. Malam Bakura Umar, an IDP, a leader of IDPs in Fufore camp, disclosed this in Yola. Umar complained that for the past 3 months, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, had not supplied food to them. He said they were in the camp since 2014, and NEMA used to supply food items for them on a monthly basis for every household living in the camp. The chairman said the IDPs in the camp were from Bama, Goza, and Gambaru Ngala in Borno State. He said they were brought to the camp from Republic of Cameroon after Boko Haram overran their villages and towns in 2013, and they escaped to Cameroon for safety. He appealed to appropriate authorities concerned to come to their aid. The Shell Petroleum Development Company said that it will be expending about $15 billion across 24 oil and gas projects in Nigeria in the next 5 years. Speaking in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, Managing Director of Shell, Mr. Nosa Okumbo, who spoke on the need for Nigerians to take advantage of the opportunities in the oil industry, also said that oil giants would in the next 5 years surpass a 70% target in the deployment of wholly Nigerian human and material resources to achieve its production benchmark. Ukumbo added that when completed, the ongoing projects in the next 5 years were capable of generating thousands of jobs in the industry and cited the Asa North Ohaji project in Imo State as capable of generating 1,200 megawatts and powering over 1.2 million Nigerian homes. Singapore and Malaysia have reached an agreement to end their months-long airspace disputes. The transport ministers of the two neighboring countries made this known in a joint statement. Under the deal, Singapore will halt instrument landing system procedures at its Seletar airport, while Malaysia will open up a restricted area near the country's border. The disputes began in December when Malaysia said it wanted to take back control of airspace managed by the city-state since 1974, because Singapore's new instrument landing system at Seletar Airport involved a flight path over Malaysian airspace. The ministers also said in a joint statement that the two countries have set up a committee to review the 1974 airspace agreements. The enthusiasm of state residents in physical fitness has continued to increase since the commencement of the Anambra State Walk for Life exercise. The 6th edition of this exercise, which covered 15-kilometer walk, kicked off from Amobia flyover through Enuwagiri to Nogo, down to Ukulu, and terminated at the Chukwemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Mariam COOU. Men of Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra, Ocha Brigade, Anambra Transport Management Agency, ATMA, and Anambra State's daily road sweepers helped to control traffic during the exercise. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike was part of the Walk for Life and now reports.
15-kilometer road walk for the state residents to enhance healthy living was led by the State Commissioner for Works, Engineer Maxeri Ifejofo, alongside the Vice Chancellor, COO, Professor Greg Wakobi, and some government officials, including the Principal Secretary to the Governor, Sir Willie Nwokoyi, Commissioner for Youth Entrepreneurship, Mr. Bonaventure Enemali, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. James Eze, and the Managing Director of ABS, Chief Uche Nwora, among others, took to the roads with the spices of the traditional Ogene music, displaying their physical fitness and encouraging others to participate in the subsequent monthly road walk. Speaking shortly after the walk, some great sportsmen in the state, including Mr. Ngozika Ekwelom, who is a former heavyweight African boxing champion, former player of Rangers International, Arthur Ebuna, and former national goalkeeper for Nigeria, Mr. Emmanuel Okala, restated the importance of exercise in human health, as according to them, a healthy body nurtures a healthy mind, and commended the initiative of the state government towards building a healthy society.
I think it is more or less to bring in young men into sports and get develop sports in Anambra State.
We encourage the youth, the older folks, to come out and join the program, because not only exercise, you watch also what you eat.
It's going to help people to live a very good, clean life. You know, for you to be stronger, you have to take in this stretch at least once in a month.
Also speaking, the Vice Chancellor of COOU, Professor Nwakobi, the Registrar of the University, Dr. Ngozi Ezibe, and Professor Pascal Onyeuno, who is the immediate past Dean, COOU, affirmed that the work enhances the physical well-being of people, which they noted will trigger greater productivity in all sectors of life. In their separate reactions, the Principal Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Nwokoye, ABS CEO, Chief Nwora, and Reverend Ekene Osu expressed satisfaction with the 15-kilometer walk and acknowledged the impact of the walk to connecting and harnessing like minds in sports, and urged younger people to exercise regularly for physical therapy. The chairman of the State Sports Development Commission, Mr. Tony Oli, expressed satisfaction with the success of the exercise and assured that the commission will initiate more programs that will impact positively on the lives of the people.
The one is very special in the sense that this is the longest we have done. These are about 16 kilometers. So it's very tedious, but we thank God we have made it.
From Ibariam, Chibuzo Obidike, ABS News.
Well, they say a healthy man is a wealthy man. Moving on, Governor Willie Obiano has called on Anambra to imbibe the spirits of patriotism and contribute in the ongoing effort to ensure a better society. He made the call at Nnewi during a day of tribute in honor of the former President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide, Dr. Dozie Ikedife, who died at the age of 88. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo takes the story from here.
Governor Obiano, who was represented by his deputy, Dr. Kemo Keke, described the late Dr. Ikedife as a humanitarian who throughout his lifetime selflessly served humanity and fought for an improved Igbo nation. He encouraged the family of the deceased to toe the path of their late father by remaining in love and always try to amicably and collectively resolve their problems, and prayed God to grant them the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss.
Ikenga Nnewi stood for something, and that's why we're all gathered here to pay our last respects. Let us stand for something. The legacy a man leaves is not by the number of structures you build or how much money you have. It's about what you stood for when you were alive. How did you contribute to humanity? How did you contribute to mankind? That's what makes us great men.
In his tribute, the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Obonnaya Onu, who described the death of the former President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide as a great loss to the Igbo nation, remarked that the deceased fought for the progress and advancement of Ndigbo and prayed for emergence of his replicas in this part of the country.
He knew that love was the strongest force that you can have in this world, and it was that understanding that made him offer selfless service to his community.
On his part, an industrialist, Dr. Cosmas Maduka, maintained that what matters in one's life is the impact he was able to make in the life of others while alive, and not the amount of wealth he was able to acquire, as according to him, the late Dr. Ikedife's contribution to the society during his lifetime speaks volume of him. Top government functionaries, leaders of various groups, captains of industry, as well as the wife of the late Ikemba Nnewi, Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, attended the ceremony. From Nnewi, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
Remember that for more on our top stories, you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website. It is www.absradiotv.com. Like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And now the main point. Anambra government has established trademark for agricultural produce to promote exports. Agricultural processing stakeholders have been urged to promote standards. Food shortage has hit internally displaced persons camp in Adamawa State. And from the foreign scene, we brought you the report that Singapore and Malaysia have agreed to end airspace disputes. And that's the end of the news on ABS Television. Many thanks for watching. My name is Priska Wankwo. Good morning.